Hi, I'm Andrew McLean, and we are here in the Wasatch to talk about one of the most important parts of backcountry skiing, which is layering, what you wear when you go backcountry skiing. One of the really crucial things about layering is to avoid the sweat and freeze syndrome. You're in a nice warm car, you get out and all of a sudden, oh, you're really cold, so your first instinct is to put on a whole bunch of clothes and stay warm. And then you start touring and all of a sudden you're really hot, but you don't want to stop right then, so you get really sweaty and you're wet, and then the cold comes back in, and then you get really cold, and then you go back into put back on clothes. The idea is to avoid that cycle. I like just a thin pair of pants with side zips on them. You need to be able to vent your thighs, not just a little bit, but you need to be able to vent all the way down to bare skin, or at least I like to. Then on the top, just a lightweight base layer, and I think a neck is very important on that. It kind of helps keep the wind down. And then on top of that, I wear a lightweight shell. Being able to fully unzip and vent it is very important. It's a much more aerobic sport, and you're staying warm by moving. The one thing that I also bring with me, mid to heavyweight puffy jacket, and the important part with this is you want to be able to put this on over the top of your regular shell. And there's an old adage, it's better to be warm than to get warm. And the idea is you get to the top and you may not feel like putting it on, but you put on your puffy, you keep all your heat in there, and that just means that you don't have to regenerate all that heat. I carry with me on every tour a baseball hat. I really like black brim because you get a lot of reflection coming off the snow, and if you have a light brim, it just reflects into your eyes. And I like ones that can fold down and fit in your pocket. I like to be able to reach into my pocket if I'm getting cold and pull out a regular knit hat, say for skiing down. This means that you don't have to stop, take off your backpack, pull a hat out, do this, do that. So gloves or mittens are a very important part of the backcountry layering system. What you want to look for is something with a nice gauntlet to it, because it's pretty common to stick your hand in the snow and you want a really good seal around your jacket. If I'm going out in the springtime, I get really hot, much more than cold. So I like having a lighter weight pair. These are basically just a small shell. I'll also take them up to a place like Alaska where I can use these as kind of a camp glove. If it's really cold, you can put these on and they're still dexterous enough to do all your cooking with a pair of gloves like this. I love mittens, even though they have a very high dork factor to them and they aren't super dexterous. And I like having a removable liner. So if I want to put on the mitts that I was just talking about, I can slide those mitts inside of this. Or if it's really warm, I can wear these, just the waterproof shell just by themselves. When it comes to face protection, I have two basic things. One is a lightweight buff. And I like those because you can wrap them, they keep your neck warm. You can also cover up your face for sun protection. If it's really windy and really cold, I like to use one of these old school neoprene face masks. They're super warm, they keep everything nice and tight, you're impervious to cold. And then on top of that, I'll drop down my goggles, and now you're in complete isolation mode. If you're going out and it's very cold and very windy and dumping snow, you really need a hard shell layer to keep that snow off, because if you're in a soft shell, the snow sticks to it and eventually wets out. On days like that, I will bring along a hard shell that I wear on the top. This is just a kind of classic Gore-Tex-y type shell, and then I also have some pants that I'll put on, and these are just an extra layer of armor that really come in handy. So those are kind of my base layers that I use on a daily basis. Layering really depends on how warm you are, how far you're going to go, and which location you're in. So, cut. What are we talking about here?